4th of November, Rabbi Levitt, Gemorrah.
Morning.
Okay, we're ready to go. And
Good morning. I'm muted because of the noise.
oh,
Thank you, Phil.
Aaron what's unmuted?
good morning,
Stars.
Aaron.
Yes.
Aaron.
Stars. Yes, sir.
Good morning
I'm
to
learning.
you.
Learning a little bit. Technology.
Okay, Bezrat Hashem. So, gentlemen, where did we get up to? Where did we get back to? Let's see. Yes, we're talking about this we did the two Rashis. We did the Chasabei, the Hare Metzia. Okay. So on Pei Zion Amid base. Yeah, so let's see. We got up to B'mayu Kimta L'Kamaisa. I think that's where we got up to. Oh wow, this keeps going and going over here, the sugya. Oh wow. Oh wow. Oh boy. Yeah. Wow. This is all one long sugi over here. Okay, well, let's go.
Where are we?
We are
87B2, right-hand column, the last paragraph.
Oh, okay.
okay.
For some reason, I've got a lot of notes on the following pages as well. All right,
Okay.
87B2.
Okay, Bumai Ukimta L'Kamaisa.
It's the last paragraph you said, right? Thank you.
Okay. Okay, so who wants to start off the reading today? We don't have too much Rashi over here. Looks like we're gonna be on our own. So let's call upon, okay. Alan, would you like to start off today? Again,
Yeah.
Alan is starting off.
The last paragraph on 87B2, right?
Yes.
The Gemorrah now challenges its explanation of the second brisa. The Mai Oka, the Torah, the Basa brisa. In what manner have you established the latter brisa? Bismu Chin al Shel Shul Tono. In a case where the children are dependent on the father's table, so that the father is not liable if he's interested. However, regarding a third party who leaves such children, the Bryce rules, the Gedolim Yitain Lahem Miyad. If they are adults, you shall give them full compensation immediately. Katani Yaaseh Lahem Segura. If they are minors, you shall establish a trust for them. But why should the children receive the compensation? Bihom, the least be, they should be given to the father. the Gemorrah answers Amre. They said, "Ki kor, kofi." When does the father mind if a child takes loss for employment payment? The midi, the kor tsar, when it concerns something that causes him a financial loss. The midi, the kor, may or more. However, when it concerns something that comes from the outside, low for fee, he does not mind.
Okay. Okay. I didn't quite follow where that was read from.
In the fat lines. Okay, so in the 1, 2, 3, 4, in the fifth fat line, the last word of the line is caw.
Yeah. Okay.
That's the last paragraph you read. If you go up from there a few lines, you should see
Oh,
the okimta.
okay.
Okimta. It's 1, 2, 3. It's 4 lines down in the fat lines. The third one on the line is ukimta.
Maya came to the Basraisa. Okay, but we didn't get up to, but we have to do Bamayo Kim to Kamaisa. We did.
Yeah, that's what he started.
Oh, no, that's earlier. That's on 87B2, left-hand column, second paragraph. That's up further. That's in the narrow lines,
Yeah,
up from the wide lines, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 lines up. The first one line is con. We didn't read that just now.
no, we read the second V'mai Gimsa.
Bamayo Kim to the Basraisa.
Right.
Yeah, that's the one we read.
Okay, now I got it. All right, so okay, so should we do should we do Bamayo Kim to the Kamaisa? How do we understand the first brisa?
Okay.
So Roy, you want to do that? See where we are?
Yep, yeah, I've got it. Thank you.
Bamayo Kim to the Kamaisa.
Kamei Kimsa Lamaisa, in what manner have you established the first brisa?
Yeah.
B'shein Semuchin al Shalochainu. In a case where the children are not dependent on the father's table, is ima No. Hihachi Ema. Sefer. If so, consider the latter part of the brisa, which states Hachavel Bevito Hakatana Fatur. One who wounds his minor daughter is not liable. V'lo odd, and not only that, Elo acharim shehevelu ba chayavin liten leviha. But not only that, but others who wounded her are obligated to give compensation to her father. But if she is not being supported by her father, the didod ba'e lemasav law, the assailant should have to give the payment to her. Because she needs sustenance. For even according to the one who said, Yochol Harev Lama Le'eved, for even according to the one who said that the master can say to his slave, Asay imi va'ini zoncho, work for me, but I won't sustain you. Hine milei be'eved bena'ani. This ruling concerns only a Canaanite slave. The Omar lay, for the master can say to him, Aved, if data kule yovma, do your work for me all day, or zil sachar ve'echo, and at night go recline and eat. About Eved Ivri, but with regard to a Hebrew servant, Dichsiv, about whom it's written, Ki tov lo imoch, because it is good for him with you, which implies that your servant shall be imoch b'ma'acha, imacha b'mishte, with you, be with you in food and with you in drink. Lo, a master may not say, work for me, but I will not sustain you. Kol shechen bito, and all the more so, one cannot say to his daughter, that, I suppose, yeah, all right. So Gemorrah answers, let's stop there or go for a bit more.
Okay, so now let's try to figure out what it is that we are saying over here. What is the Gemorrah saying? Now, the Gemorrah said, "B'mayu kimta l'kamaisa." We're not really asking a question so much as we're saying that on account of the fact that we have established that the first brisa is talking about a father who caused injury to his son, and we said over there that the father is chayav to pay for the demei chavola, for the injury that he caused. Okay, not sure whether that's referring to all chamisha dvorim, or whether it's just referring to workers' comp. But let's just say that he's chayav. That's in the case b'she'em somkin al shulchan. That's how we explain that brisa is talking. The reason why the father's chayiv to pay in that case is because that son is not being supported by the father. So now, if that is so, says the Gemorrah, if that's the correct way to explain that brisa, Yihachi, Emaseifa. Let's take a look at what it says in the second part of that very brisa. And it says over there, Chovel bebito aktana potter. That it says that he's not when he injures his minor daughter, he's exempt over there. So that would not be like what we said in the ratio with the son. Below Od, and not only that, but acherim shechavlu bo chayavim litin lavia. That if others would injure her, they would be required to pay not to the daughter who suffered the injuries and the loss of all the five things, but they would have to pay the father of this daughter. Now, if so, says the Gemorrah, l'dido boy l'meitav lo. If the Reish is talking about that a case where the son is not being supported by the father, then presumably the Seifa is also talking in the same type of a scenario. And as such, the Gemorrah is timing that the din of the brisa in the Seifa is incorrect. What? It should. The Gemorrah says, this guy needs to pay the daughter for her loss, for her injury. Why? The boy Mazaine, because the Gemorrah is going with the assumption that she is not being supported by the father, and that as such, she needs to receive these payments for her injury, because she needs to sustain herself. She needs to feed herself, and so the payments should go to her. Why does it go to the father? Okay, so that's a clear question. And on that, the Gemorrah continues. Roy continued further, right? You continued further. Now the Gemorrah is making a elaboration of its question. It's saying, even according to the view, there is a view out there, an opinion in the Gemorrah, that the Gemorrah that opinion holds Yochol Harav Loimar LeEved Aseimi ve'eni zancha. The master could say to his slave, you got to work for me, but I do not have to feed you. And he would not be in violation of his obligation. Honey Mili, when are those words said? When does that opinion apply? Be'evet Kanani. That only could apply to an Evet Kanani. The Amalei of David Telekule Oma Ulaorsa Zil Sachar Liachol. That's only for an Evet Kanani. That such an opinion applies, and then we bring another similar statement in that regard. Aval, but as far as an Evet Ivri goes, now what's the difference between an Evet Kanani and an Evet Ivri? An Evet Ivri basically is a full-fledged Jew. He's a full-fledged Jew who is working for this guy. He hired himself out. He sold himself, so to speak. He sold his labor for six years, but he's not really a slave, even though we do call him an Evet Kanani. So for him, there's a special pasuk that says Ki tov lo imach. it's good for, it'll be good for this Eved Ivri when he's by this master. Imcha b'machal, imcha b'mishta, because the master is obligated to do everything for him that he would do for himself. There's even a Gemorrah that says that if the master has got only one pillow, he doesn't get two pillows. That he got so he can't have a situation where he's got the pillow and his Eved Ivri does not have any pillow at all. So what does he have to do in that case? If he only has one pillow, he's got to give it to the Eved Ivri. So the Gemorrah says, Kol shekain bito. If that's what we say about an Eved Ivri, certainly we say no less about his daughter. And so therefore, what's the question that the Gemorrah is asking over here? The Gemorrah doesn't understand how this case could be. Bito Ketana, that he does not how is it so that we're talking about a case where he's not giving her mazonos? If he wants to not give her mazonos, so then, one second. Right, he can't. Yeah, he can't say that. He can't say, "Work for me," meaning to say when he says "work for me" means to say, "You work, and I'm going to take your earnings." That's what it means. Work for me. Work for me, and I'm going to take all your earnings. You won't get any earnings, and in addition to that, any zancha. That he can't say, and on top of that, I won't. I'll take all the earnings, and I won't feed you. That's impossible to say, because it's impossible to say by an Eved Ivri. So all the more so, it's not going to be possible to say that to Bito. So if he can't say that to his daughter, so then why is this Brisa saying that in the case where he's not supporting her, he is exempt from, he doesn't have to give her the workers' comp if she would be injured by somebody else. If he would injure her, why wouldn't he have to pay? And also others that would injure her, they why would they give it to the father and not to the daughter? I believe would be the question. Wow, I see how this is quite complicated over here, and it requires a lot of preliminary knowledge of the sugya. Okay, so let's try that one. Let's see how the Gemorrah responds to this one. The Seder. Okay, so we're up to Kida Amar Rava Berei de Rabula. So whose turn is it to read now? We had Roy, we had Alan. So let's go to Yo. Kida Amar Rava.
Okay, make sure it's not loud. We're going to do the Amar Rabba.
Yeah.
The Amar Rabba Ray, the Ravula. Rabba said the name Ravula.
Yeah.
Lo nitzrecha ella. The only case you needed is lehadafa, with hadafa, with that like extra stuff.
Yeah, right. Odif.
What's left over.
This would be yes. Okay, we'll see what that means.
Hachanami here also lo tzricha el. You don't need it ella b'hadafa. That also. So in that case, they're comparing the two cases. He's saying just like that case only works with the extra amount, this case would only work with the extra amount.
Okay, so now do we have a Rashi that tells us a little bit about the view of Rabbi Bereder Avula?
We do have the word the hadafa. The hadafa means hamuta,
Okay.
what's left over, al
Also,
mizonet, more than the muzaneha is her sustenance. So it's like extra money. You know, the sustenance has to be paid by the father. So extra money beyond the sustenance. That's what we're talking about.
Uh-huh.
And you do have a derabera derabula. And here's where it says it happens. It's a quote where it's from. Perich
Where is
Nara Shinit Pata. Okay, so it's in the case of a young Nara who was seduced. That's the name of the Perich.
Patata? Yeah. This girl wasn't seduced, but you're right. That's the name
That's
of
the name of the Perich.
That's the name of the parak. It must be a parak in Ksubis.
No, it says right here. It says Daf Mem Gimel, so it's got to be in the same. It's got to be in Bava Kama also, because otherwise it would say a different place. It just says Daf Mem Gimel.
I have Daf Mem Gimel right after it says Nara Shini's Pasasab in Rashi.
It says Mem Gimel.
I think it would be over there in the Ksubis. Okay, so there's a case where Rabbi Bereder of Hula says that this adafa will not go to the father or his heirs. It'll go to this daughter over here. That's what we're talking about. Okay, Rashi just tells us to go look over there. To know exactly what the case was. Okay, so in any case, there's a case over there. We're not going to look at it now. But the din is like Phil said, lo nitztricha ella lahadafa. This halacha is only in regard to adafa. The excess of on the like Rashi says of her mazonas. So hachanami here too, in this case that we're talking about over here in this brisa, lo nistrucha ela lahadafa. Now, what is the pshat over here? Rashi also doesn't explain over here. He's just telling us, look over there in the Gemorrah and figure it out. So we didn't look in the Gemorrah, and we're going to try to figure it out. So yeah. So let's see what we can do. Right. The Gemorah's question was, why should it go to the father? It should go to her. But that's what the brisa says. We're not going to change the din of the brisa. So we're trying to figure out, well, how could that be? Well, we know that that he's got to provide for the daughter. So what's the pshat over here that it's going to the father, and the father doesn't have to pay? So as I understand what we're saying over here is what the Gemorrah is saying. This is a case of the case of the Sefer. We're making what we call an ukimta in this Sefer. We're the simple, straightforward understanding of the brisa is difficult, and so therefore we got to make an ukimta in this brisa. What's an ukimta mean? Ukimta is we got to bring a case from left field that Rava says that is in regard to the case of Odafa, and that's where this case of this Bryce applies. So don't be worried that the father's getting it. It's taught what the father's getting is he's getting a dafa. That's the just like Rava said over there. It's not going to go to the daughter. It's going to go to the father or to his heirs, whoever it is over there, and that's in regard to a dafa. And Rashi explains a dafa is the mosar on her mazonas. In other words, the obligation of the father to give mazonas is accepted, and with that we've answered our question. And this that we're giving, this that we give to the father is the mosar. It's above and beyond the mazonas that he's already providing her with. That's what I would understand this is Gemorrah saying over here. In other words, it may be that this other person who injured his daughter, let's say the total sum of the injury was 1,000, and what he pays for her mazonas is 500. So we don't mean to say that the whole 1,000 is going to go to the father. We mean to say that the 500 is going to go to the father. So, because that's in excess of the mazonas that he's obligated to provide for her. So that amount, if he didn't provide to her, she's going to get it. So she got it, but she got a mazonas. But this is odif. This is the extra amount over and above the mazonas that he's got to provide for her, and that amount, according to this brisa, is going to be given to him. That is what the father is, and if he's putter on if it says in the brisa that he's putter, he's exempt on her injury. That's because this amount of the injury that he's got to pay, if it exceeds her mazonas value, the mazonas value he's got to pay. If he doesn't give her mazonas, he's got to pay for that amount of the injury that he caused. But then the amount which is in excess to the injury that he caused her, which is over and above the mazonas that he's required to allocate for her, so that amount is called a dafa, and that is what the brisa says that he doesn't have to give to her. Okay. So in other words, if he would injure her, any amount, if he's got some type of an agreement that he doesn't give her mazonas, let's say she keeps her own earnings, maybe, I don't know. Then so he's not giving her mazonas officially. So, but then that amount of injury he would have to give her because, like we said, by the son, the same thing. He's got to eat. He needs to eat. So that amount of mazonas that he needs to eat, that amount of demei chavola, of damages for the injury, he's going to have to give to her. But if it was 500 above that, so what do we do with that 500? That amount he doesn't have to give her. So that's what we mean to say that he's putter. Okay. That wasn't too complicated, was it? You get the idea. Okay. Good. All right, so now we go to the next brisa. Well, Mayu Kimta the Basraisa. We have a question, it looks like, on the second brisa also. So let's I forgot already what we said about this second price over here. Let's read this one again. Roy, would you like to read this? We got 3 minutes left. Okay, let's do this. Let's read at least what the question is.
Umay Akimta Liberisa. In what manner have you established the latter Barisa? Bismuhin al Shulchanah. In a case where the children are dependent on the father's table, so the father isn't liable if he injures them. However, regarding the third party who wounds such children, the Barisa rules. Godolim Yoten Lahem Miyad. If they are adults, he shall give them full compensation immediately. Mitanim Yaaseh Lahem Segura. But if they are minors, he shall establish a trust for them. But why should the children receive the compensation? Lavihim by Ma'asiva. It should be given to the father.
Because they're somach al shulchano, because they are being supported by him.
And then the Gemorrah answers, Omare, they said, Ki kofid, when does the father mind if the child takes loss of the employment? B'midei Dakar Chasar, when it concerns something that causes him a financial loss. B'midei Da'asa Ma'alama, and however, when it concerns something that comes from the outside, Li Kafir, he does not mind. The Gemara objects, it's here, or do you want to go forward or stop there?
Okay. Yeah, so just to try to understand what the Gemorah's answer is over here before we get to the next question. The Gemorah's answering that that it says that we do not give it to the father is because it's midi de asami alma. It's something that it's money that's coming from others. Money that's coming from others. In other words, the Gemorah is saying that the case of this price, the second price, is talking about if somebody else injured the child. That if we give if we tell the assailant to give it to the child, even though he's samech al shulchan aviv, the father doesn't mind that because he's not makpid on that. Not makpid on that because he didn't say, let me receive the demei chavala of my child. Let me receive the compensation for the damages done to my child. He lets the child have it. He lets the child have it in that case, even though the child is being supported by the father. But true, if it would be a case that the father would be sustaining the loss, that he would have to pay out because he was the one that damaged the child. So then in that case, if he's the one who's also supporting the child, we say that the father's going to be putter on that one because he would be makpid in a case like that to say that he shouldn't have to pay for that because he's supporting the child. That's what we got so far. Okay, good. I see it's 12:31, and we wish everybody a wonderful day. Yashikoyach.
Be well.
And good Shabbos to Phil.
Good Shabbos.
Good Shabbos, Rabbi Alan.
And tomorrow is Rosh Chodesh, right?